Nicholas Bornelis of Capital Link, and I would like to welcome you all to a very interesting panel. We have all been discussing about Chinese leasing, about debt financing, but now this is a panel that is going to focus on the new era for equity investment in shipping. We have with us a great group of panelists, and I would like to thank Simone and Vincent from Stephenson Harwood for putting this panel together and for about to expertly moderate it. So thank you to all for being with us. I just wanted to welcome you to the panel, and I will turn over the floor to Simone and Vincent. Thank you again.
Thank you, Nicholas. Hello, everyone. Today we are here to talk about the new era for the equity investment in shipping. As we all know, shipping is a capital-intensive industry, and China is the world's largest shipbuilding, ship-owning, ship-financing nation, also the largest importer and exporter. With decades of development, we are now at the stage to discuss whether and how we can explore more opportunities in this industry. Panelists will look back in time and ahead to discuss about the opportunities and challenges in the emerging market. So today we are fortunate to invite Ms. Nilesh from Drewry Maritime Financial Research, Mr. Xiao from Equator Fund, Mr. Suning from Frontline Capital, and Ms. Caroline Stone from DCL Investment. So I will hand over to Nilesh, and who can introduce himself. Hello, Nilesh.
Thank you, Simone. Hello, good morning to everybody. I am Nilesh Tiwary, and I'm currently serving as a manager within Drewry Maritime Financial Research, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Drewry Shipping Consultant Holdings Limited. In my role, in addition to my role as a manager, I'm also a lead analyst responsible for covering equities in the container shipping domain. And I have more than 14 years of experience in financial markets. So that's a brief about me. I'll also like to tell you something about Drewry. Drewry is one of the leading international provider of research and consulting services to the maritime and shipping industry. And it's a 50-year-old organization. We have four main verticals, as market research, financial research, maritime advisors, and supply chain advisors. And I'm representing my vertical, which is Drewry Maritime Financial Research. That's brief about Drewry. Now, let me quickly take you through some of the recent trends that's been happening in the global capital market, and then I'll also touch upon shipping equities. So what we have seen recently in the financial market, that the market has been highly volatile, and that's mainly because of Black Swan event, that is COVID-19. So Black Swan events are basically defined as rare and unexpected events with severe consequences. To give you an example, if I have to take S&P 500 index, the index from 2007 until August 2020. So what we have seen is the index have been very volatile. And if you consider a period between Jan to mid-March this year, then S&P lost more than 30% of its value, with the bear market reaching in just 16 days. And that's been the fastest time period on record. In comparison, during the great financial crisis in 2008, S&P reached the bear market in 188 days. However, that's not the end. So if we look into the month of August, I mean, this last month, the recovery in the S&P has been such that S&P 500 enjoyed its strongest August in 34 years. So this is how it's been in the market, and we have seen stocks are still well supported by a combination of liquidity, attractive equity risk premiums, and ongoing recovery as economies reopen from COVID-19 induced lockdowns. There was a recent global fund manager survey conducted by Bank of America, and respondents show a reasonably high preference for equities. So the point I'm trying to make is the equities still favorable, and in fact that's again because governments across the globe are doing their bit by announcing rate cuts and fiscal stimulus in order to stabilize the economies. So back in May, we saw the Chinese government unveiling a fiscal stimulus package of nearly $500 billion. So now coming to the equity issuance part. So despite the pandemic, we have seen that the companies across the globe, they are going to the market for equity issuance, although they may not be IPOs, but they are follow-on equity issuance. So if we happen to have a look at data from S&P, then global equity issuance have increased about 35% year on year to $194 billion in the second quarter of 2020 alone. So and that the equity issuance has been led by mostly the healthcare sector in the US, because the companies that are looking to raise capital in an effort to create solutions to combat the COVID-19 pandemic are looking for equity issuance. So this has been the story around equity issuance. Now, as far as shipping is concerned, shipping sector unfortunately have seen a slight decline over the past 5 years, and new equity investments in past 4 years in China especially is concentrated in the container shipping, followed by dry bulk shipping, and tanker shipping and gas shipping have seen very little new equity investments. So that's brief about what's happening in shipping. However, what we have seen recently is capital market activity in shipping bonds and in offshore have been reasonably good in 2020, with capital market proceeds of USD 18 billion and USD 7 billion respectively made until August this year, according to our research. Other than shipping IPOs, which are down 100%, I'm comparing August 2020 with August 2019. So this shipping IPOs has been down 100%. Otherwise, shipping follow-up deals and shipping bonds, including capital proceeds in offshore sector and shipyard sector, have been reasonably up, and it ranges between more than 50% to 100%. And now coming to private equity in shipping. So shipping finance is something where most significant changes have taken place over the past decade or so. In the early 2000s, we saw that European banks were primary financer for shipping industry. In that scenario, the ship owner would provide just 20 to 30% of equity, and the bank would provide the remaining funding, while the ship owner would pledge the vessel itself to the bank in case of default. However, the model has faced an abrupt decline in 2008, primarily because of global financial crisis. So the point I'm making here is the slow decline of private equity, mainly because of global financial crisis. And to tell you an example, Royal Bank of Scotland was a notable example, because the RBS was the largest single lender to Greek ship owners market, but over the past 5 years it has exited the whole shipping business. So now, to fill the gap of private equity owners, what we have recently seen is new players are coming in, and they are Chinese banks, and Chinese leasing houses who are providing funding to shipping industry as a whole. So and now I'll briefly also touch upon shipbuilding industry. So global ship orders have taken a hit, obviously because of COVID-19 and low oil prices. So and what we are facing is rising shipbuilding challenges, and the challenges emanates from various sources. One of the key challenges coming from new technologies, and sustainability is also one of the rising topics, why we are seeing reshaping in investments. So a vessel that a shipyard may be building today could look completely different in the next few years. And for example, there's also a lot of discussion going on the arrival of unmanned ships, which again, if happens, will change the industry completely. So what we see more is the market is more connected now with supply chain, as well as there's a mounting uncertainty on future of what kind of vessels will enter the market. So that has also affected the choices made by investors. Global new ship order have recently taken a hit, as I mentioned before. However, if we are to look at the recent data, then the trend shows a rise in market share for Asia, and that's primarily led by China. So if I have to quote a data, then Chinese yards won 63% of contracts in the first quarter of 2020, compared to Korea's 18% and Japan's 8%. So also we are seeing a lot of mergers and acquisitions that's happening in ship builders across Asia. To give you an example, the two largest shipbuilding companies, that is DSME and HHI, are undergoing merger process, of course, because the less number of orders happening. And we also saw China State Shipbuilding Corporation Limited, which was officially unveiled in November 2019. Because the two of the largest Chinese companies, China Shipbuilding Industry Company and China State Shipbuilding Corporation, came together to merge. Similarly, we also seeing Imambari Shipbuilding and Japan Marine United together, responsible for about 40% of total Japanese shipbuilding output, and they have also created a joint venture named Nihon Shipyard Company. So that's a brief about shipbuilding industry. Foreign, if you look at the recent August release of investor presentation of DSME, you'll find that the foreign equity inflows into DSME has been rising over the last 3 years. So as per the latest data in 2019, it was about 23%.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
23%. And also China's seaborne trade and shipyard activity, if I have to compare 2019 versus what it was 15 years back, then China accounts for more significant share of global imports and vessel deliveries than in 2003, and it's about again 22%. So lastly, I would touch upon share prices performance of selected Chinese shipping companies. So they have done reasonably well, especially the Chinese shipping in the tanker businesses have performed quite well with share returns in the last 2 years being more than 80%. In some of the companies such as China Merchant Energy Shipping Company, so which is quite good. And being an optimist, I hope that this COVID pandemic only creates opportunity for investors. So to summarize, I would say the future opportunity is likely to be in green finance. Earnings are creeping up, so general investors may have another look, and there may be scope for the capital markets to be more active. New IPOs may be seen in 2020, although we haven't seen until now, but I'm still hopeful that a few companies will definitely take IPO route, because now we're seeing improvement in market, some improvement in market compared to the first half. Shipping can be attractive to investors, since there are many ways to invest in different risk versus the reward opportunities. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I think first of all, thank you very much for the talk. I know that you have done a lot of research, and for the audience, we will upload the presentation slides, and then you can read all the detailed analysis and numbers done by Nilesh, and you can have a look. Thanks again for your overall discussions.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Now let's move on to the other three honorable guest speakers. All of them are from the front line, I would say. They are from the equity investment industry in the shipping side in China. Stephen, Suning, and Caroline. Let's move on to Stephen first. Well, I will change to Chinese channel, and I think the conference organizer will provide translation later on.
Right, Mr. Xiao. Hello, Vincent. Thank you for attending this panel discussion. So first of all, please introduce to your company. So we would like to see what opinions do you have in terms of the shipping industry, the status quo, and also the future developments. What opinions do you have? Thank you so much, Vincent. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And actually, I would like to talk about my company. In order to save time, I'm going to use Chinese. Actually, I've been involved in the industry, and before this, in the past, I was responsible for, I was in the foreign trade company for a total of 15 years. I'm responsible for the investment in the industry and also management. Now, I'm working as the president of the Shenzhen Sida Fund company. We're a young company. Normally, we were registered the year before, last year, but actually we have old colleagues in the new company. The core colleague has more than 15 years and 20 years of the experience in the industry. And actually, we have involved in a really wide range in terms of the fundraising, logistics, and also legal services and shipping services. We involved in all sort of industries, in all domains of industry. So that's why we are really professional in really wide range of work. I do believe that we really get well qualified. The baseline for the fund is that we are located in Shenzhen, and we're located in Greater Bay Area, Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau. Normally, the equity service is oriented to the whole globe. We are actually a private equity company. And until now, we have some main focus of investment. First of all, we have LNG, LEG, and LPG domain. And also at the same time, we have the relevant services. And the second one is actually traditional shipping domains, including the tankers and also containers. And the third one is the modern shipping services or the technology services. For example, we have invested in intelligent shipping management system and big data and AI system and some of the new Internet Plus industrialization services. In this regard, we put this as the focus of our investment. And the fourth one is actually cloud service. It's actually cruise service. This is the main focus of our investment too. And the fifth one is actually clean energy and new energy. We're going to speed up our own exploration, and also we focus on the electric generation on the sea and the relevant projects. And the sixth one, as normally we are involved in some of the mild project investment, any project that are related to the related technologies or the high-end equipment. These are actually focuses of investment. Our company, through our effort of the investment, now, normally within less than 3 years, in some domains, we have made really successful investment. For example, in specific, in the liquefied a chemical substance. In terms of this kind of investment, we have been very successful. We've been working together with some local companies in a greater area to improve the management, and actually the volume would be up to totally 20 cubic meters. In London and Singapore, we have run navigated gas. We've been working together with the real large company to establish the joint venture so as to manage 55 ships and the relevant shipping service. And also in LNG, we have also had some investment in LNG. Normally, we are focused on regional investment, and also at the same time we are involved in some investment in some cruise ships. On the other hand, I think now I would like to share with you that the fact that our company, through the several years of effort, we're going to become the company that is supported by Shenzhen government, and also we're going to manage the industrial fund for Shenzhen government. So actually the total volume would be up to 10 billion RMB. So we're going to have two steps. One step, 3 billion for each step. It is expected that we're going to have totally 10 billion RMB on the relevant investment of the relevant industries. So this is actually the basic introduction of me and the company. So Mr. Xiao, thank you so much for a really kind introduction and about yourself and also your company. So on this matter, we're talking about the new age of the shipping industry. What do you think of this age? So what do you think of what China can do in order to incubate the competitiveness of the fund, the foundation on the shipping industry? Speaking of this, speaking of why we would like to do this industrial foundation, normally it's based on the really broad background of the industry. I think that basically, normally we have several domains to consider. We can see that, the basic factors for the shipping industry over the past 1 decade in China, especially in China. In all factor-based industries, we would like to say that we are ahead of all the other countries in the world. For example, from the perspective of the factor of the industry. Now, China has become the base for the industrial manufacturing. The GDP of the industrial manufacturing is as big as the US, Germany, and also Japan in combined, more than $4 trillion US. That's why we need to have a large amount of input of the raw material. We need to have a large export of the semi-finished goods and finished goods. You can see that China is the largest trading country in the world. The largest, normally we are the largest exporter and the second largest importer. 90% of trade is transported on sea. Normally, this situation is able to have really good contribution to the sea freight. After speaking of this background, you can see the broad picture of China. Since 2017, China has been the first country, the biggest country of the shipbuilding. So from the index of the shipbuilding and also from the perspective of delivery and the number of the orders, China is still the first biggest country of the shipping building. In terms of the number of the shipping, one really trustworthy data show that actually China has owned the largest number of the shipping, normally 170,000 ships that we owned. Now, this domain, normally from the perspective of the total ownership of the ships, China, without doubt, China is actually the largest country of the ownership of the shipping. From the number of the personnel of the shipping, over the past 10 years, the newest number of the ship crew personnel has exceeded 1 million. A large number of the people are involved in high management and middle management. Over the past 20 and 30 years, we have greatly increased the number of personnel. China has incubated a large number of the high management and middle management. And also, we're able to send the personnel to the outside world, and the number will be up to 400,000. Really very much important part is that it's about the advancement of science and technology of China. Over the past 5 to 10 years, the relevant science and technology force has really advanced in terms of the intelligent management system of shipping, and also the environmentally friendly technologies. And also we have Beidou navigation system. So actually the science and technology are intertwined with the industry of shipping. We have countless opportunities for science and technology. We're going to have some new stuff coming out. I would like to say that. So actually we have very complete base of the factors of the shipping industries. So when we include the East China, Northeast China, and combine all of the resources together, I do believe that the shipping industry in China has really solid foundation. And what makes us really happy is that over the past 2 years, China's financing in the shipping industry has turned out to be very fast. The newest data show that the top 10 traditional financing platform, I mean in terms of the loan, the top 3 countries are actually the traditional banks. I mean, they are, besides from the top 1 bank, we have the Bank of China and also Bank of China Export and Import. Normally, we're able to break through the monopoly dominated by Europe and the US. Thank you so much. I think that you have really clear opinion in terms of the whole industry. The most important factors are handled in China. So that's why you think that China is able to have really great growth in terms of industry. Now we would like to switch it over to Mr. Swin.
Hi, Mr. Su. We know that you have a very rich experience in this industry. So could you please talk about the tips you have and experience you have for managing equity fund for shipping industry?
How do you think we should run a foundation for the shipping industry. Can you hear me? Thank you so much. I would like to thank the organizer for the invitation. I would like to talk something about me. So actually, I've been in the national state-owned company for more than 12 years. So actually, I've been involved in the investment matter, and also we have prepared for the establishment of the cargo company. I've been in charge of the cargo company for totally 7 years, and since 2017, I just went out and also did the investment business. And also we started doing frontline capital. Actually, this company is actually an equity investment company. Normally, we are responsible for, we actually an equity investor. Within totally 3 years, normally we are able to increase by 2 ships each year. Just because of the COVID-19 this year, the investment speed and growth rate turns out to be very slow. But actually later on, we're going to have a lot more opportunities and keep it going. Speaking of my own insight about an investment, I would like to share with you my thinking over the past 2 years. The equity investments consists of 2 kinds of investment. The first kind is actually investment with company. And the first kind is about the investment with the company. Normally, you're able to invest in listed companies or non-listed companies, actually in the capital market. So normally, the equity is not favored by investors. It's not a favored choice. For example, in the first half of this year, just because of all reasons, the market turned out to be ineffective. Some cruise companies, cruise ships business grew by several times, but actually the price of the stock did not go up. So that's why investing in the company's equity, normally it turns out to be lagging behind the industrial market. Actually, the effect of the industrial market does not really affect your own outcome of investment. Some investors might feel that they're kind of far away from the real market, and actually you can choose to invest in asset. Normally, investing in assets allows you to directly get involved in the operation and management of the asset. At the same time, when you do investment, you can clearly know which ship you're investing in, and also the business performance of ships is going to directly reflect on your own return. But this way of investment, relatively speaking, normally it's really closely connected with the market. The volatility of the market is going to be reflected on your account of return. So that's why for investors themselves, possibly they need to differentiate between the 2 alternatives for investment based on your experience and your understanding about the investment. You need to select the most suitable alternative of investment for you. Now, what do you refer to? I'm responsible for. Normally, I'm responsible for investing in the asset. Normally, investing in the industry, right? So actually, it's oriented as serving the operators of the industry. So if you invest in industry, more oftentimes you're going to get involved in the experience, operation, and management of the shipping. But actually, this is not what the investors are good at. If in the market you have quite a lot of transparent and visible operation companies, normally for the investors themselves, they are actually really good choices. So a lot of shipping companies are really clarified in all domains. For example, if we would like to build a car, we need to turn to a factory for engines or motors or the body, the car bodies. Normally, you're able to align them together, combine them together so as to make out a car. Normally, for example, if you are an investor, you can turn to a company that is able to run the factory for you. In that case, it's able to help you solve the management and operation. But now, when we're looking at the market, so the company is responsible for operation and management. They probably serve the industrial companies or traditional companies. So normally their connection with the equity investors are not enough. So that's why I think that in China, at least in China market, the good service provider are not really sufficient. So Mr. Su just said that actually when you're involved in the industrial investment, we need to have the investors to have a really comprehensive capabilities, right? Yes, normally we have high requirements for investors. So this is the basic directions. Normally, you need to have the really versatile background, including the operation experience, the shipping, and also investment experience. Thank you so much. Ms. Song, as far as I know, you are from the largest. You're from the largest restructuring firm company. A fund company. Normally, you have invested a lot and gained quite a lot of return. So could you please introduce to your company and also introduce the basic status quo of your company and some of the services you provide? Thank you so much. Can you please hear me?
Okay, thank you, Vincent. Can you hear me all right? Yes, perfect. All right. It is a great privilege for me to be part of this online panel. I was listening to the experience and advice shared by the top minds of the industry. We were talking about the separation of proprietary right and management right in the shipping industry, which is both a traditional and a modern industry, and it is also a challenge faced by equity investment. We come from different perspectives, as I come from a financial and legal background. DCL investment or Dingyi investment in Chinese. This is now the largest PE fund for special asset. We now have a total cash size of 10 billion, and we manage a mega fund. It is a single layer mega fund with no internal structure. We have 50% of our investors from domestic insurance companies. We also have state-owned investment platforms, foundation investors. So that is in the investor portfolio of ours. It's dominated by professional institutional investors. As I said earlier, I do not come from the industry originally. Like Vincent, I come from a legal background. After that, I worked in the USD fund for 7 to 8 years. In 2015, I came out with a friend. All of us were born after 1980s, and we built DCL. We now manage a size of 10 billion. So our business is based on the mega background of China. Now we are experiencing industrial transformation and economic transition. We were looking at the industries back in 2015, and we believed shipping would have been a great opportunity. Back in 2014 and 2015, a lot of NPL was used. Apart from the fixed assets at the bottom of NPL portfolio, a lot of NPL was related with shipping. Back then, there were a lot of bankrupt shipyards in Jiangsu and the province, troubled teams, troubled ship owners, etc. So in an active way or in a passive way, I think it's a good opportunity for us to take actions, and then we need to deal with those assets. So that's how we started business in this field. In the past couple of years, we started with bulk goods, and then we look at chemicals. We believe chemical ships on the coastal lines for domestic trade is a very good subject because we believe chemicals is a very steady business. The way we dealt with it was a bit different. We take it as bankruptcy and restructuring. We take over the business as bankruptcy investor. We cut the cost, improve management, and make it a profit again. That's how we dealt with it. At the end of last year, we took over as a shareholder. We took over the largest chemical ship fleet in China. It has a total of 12 chemical vessels. It has a total fleet of 28 vessels. Now it is wholly owned by our fund. Okay, that's about us. Thank you very much.
So actually, we have totally 28 ships. This is to set us for basic information of what we do. So you are actually doing the acquisition of the asset normally, but in the form of investing in the industries. So I would like to have three of you to speak about the challenges that you're facing. Mr. Xiao, given time constraint, I think that, as for the internal fund management, the largest risk is actually external environment or policy environment in front of us. The largest challenge is actually China-US relations, and also the uncertainties brought by the China-US relations. These are actually uncontrollable factors. I think that our company is not pursuing the dominance of China in the shipping industry. I would like to say that we are pursuing the win-win situation in the peaceful times. We are going for the peaceful times of the shipping industries. We are going for cooperation and sharing. So I think that we wish that the policy risks to be mitigated. All right, Mr. Su, do you have anything to add? Mr. Su. Mr. Su, are you there? Mr. Su. All right, time's up. We plan to invite you to have a few more words, but we are going to have the further exchange and also communication after we're done with the session. But I think that your presentation is just quite all right. Thank you so much for your information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.